an overwhelming amount of anxiety. Walls were caving in. That's usually one of the symptoms that I get when I'm about to feel an anxiety attack. I told my supervisors that I was going to step out and go for a walk, and as I was walking I felt it continue on and it was getting worse. I headed over to the Counseling and Disability Services Center at York University. I walked in, spoke to the secretary and said I needed to get a counselor right away and I needed to talk to them because I feel like I'm about to fall apart.
I came to York at 17, and it's been like a long journey. Every year has gotten more stressful because, you're finding out more things about yourself, but you're spending so much money, in the midst of everything, right? And a lot of the times, you have to suck it up because you're an adult now. They kind of expect you, after high school to they baby you, and then when you're in university, it's like, oh, okay, you can do your own thing now.
Transition from high school to post-secondary is very different. Your class, it might be much larger than you're used to. You might not have the usual one-on-one support that you have from teachers. And that transition can be really difficult for students. Sometimes isn't related to academics at all. Maybe something happens in their personal life. If they have dependents that they take care of and something happens to them, or if they have a job that is taking up time, or they lose a job that they need to pay for school, those outside kind of influencers tend to push students into that next level of stress.
We had just started the first semester, and already I was going through a lot of issues in terms of schoolwork. I had a lot of personal family related issues. I had an uncle that passed away, and I had an aunt who was fighting breast cancer, and everything was just piling in. And then of course you have your usual social life related issues, your personal, overthinking, a lot of stressing, a lot of late night, lack of sleep, all those come into play. And just one day, that was the day where I felt like I was about to crash, and it just all came at me at one time and I couldn't deal with it.
I wanted to go to counseling because I felt like I wasn't getting the advice or the attention that I needed, I guess, from my friends or my family. There are things that you don't want to hear, and when you talk to the people who know you the most, sometimes it's harder to talk to them. You want to talk to a stranger because they don't have judgments, they don't have preconceived notions of you, so you want to just kind of go in an open and welcoming space, and I think PCS did that for me.
Studies show that 18 to 24 is kind of when symptoms of mental illnesses start to appear in individuals. And so if you have an undiagnosed mental illness, or even if you're able to get a diagnosis, that is an added stress that you're now dealing with on a regular basis while you're also trying to be a student and do well. So.
When you're at a point where you're so stressed and so you feel so alone, you really have no other option but to go to these sources.
From students who contact me regularly to say I want to reach out for help, but I'm afraid someone's going to find out, right? Whether that's their family, a professor, whoever it is, right? And really having to explain to students, A, that somebody wouldn't find out, but B, let's talk about why you're worried about that, right? And what is it that you're afraid of them finding out? And it really is rooted in stigma that, something's wrong with them, or they're not coping as well as the rest of the students. Something we tried to do as well is using our college health assessment survey data and putting it up on TV screens and bathroom stalls on campus to kind of normalize some of the issues that students are facing. So we had one poster that said, are you feeling anxious? Well, over 66% of your peers are also feeling anxious. So it's okay, and here are resources that you can reach out to. if you need support. So really trying to work on that stigma. So although it still exists, we are trying to do what we can to kind of break it down and make it less.
I've realized that it's just really a facade. I think everyone's just faking it, fake it till you make it kind of thing. I think everyone's struggling, but they kind of keep it to themselves. I don't think there's much vulnerability, even within your peers and your classmates. You know, everyone wants to show their best. Everyone wants to make everyone else believe that what they're doing is okay and acceptable. But once you go through university and once you experience your own struggles, you kind of understand, like, no, that's not a reality. It may be for some, but for others, it shouldn't shame you. It shouldn't make you feel less of a person just because you're not following that guideline. I think it's impacted me because I've just grown to be more understanding of others and to myself.
Having that one-on-one counseling session once a week has been really helpful and has been really positive in terms of being able to move forward and being able to deal with schoolwork.
So a good chunk of our strategy is looking at the different academic policies that we have on campus and reframing them from a mental health lens.
I've learned not how to cope necessarily to my fullest potential, but I've learned where to look for help. And I've learned to be open about getting help.